again. My name is Jeff and this is Jenny Chow, my assistant. Well, always getting in the way. Today is nearly a year now since we've had the Lexmoto Pegasus, so I'm going to give it an anniversary service. So please sit back and hopefully enjoy.
So here's the drain plug here. It's going to use a hex tool to get to that one. So we'll get on. Now, as you can see, I've bought this lovely mat to lie on to save me laying in concrete. Unfortunately, I've got to share it with somebody. So, oh dear. Yes, you. How's Daddy going to do the motorbike if you're going to be there? Anyway, let's try and see what we can do and get on with it. Well, I finally got me mat back now, so we can carry on undoing this. Now, there we go. Now the thing is, with this, the manual says that it takes 800 millilitres, 0.8 of a litre, but it actually takes more than that. It's about 13-14. So what I do, I just empty this out a little bit, as you can see. And then we get this ready and we just fill this up to 1 litre, and then we measure what's left after that. There we go. Now I'm doing this cold. It was recommended by Martin from Retro Restore, and it actually lets all the bits settle down to the bottom, so hopefully by not spreading it all around waiting for it to cool down, we should get more of the bits out. So we're nearly there. Get this down to a litre, almost a litre. There we go, it's a litre, so we'll quickly get that back on again. Hopefully. Oh dear, here we go, cock up time. Right, so what I've done, I've just tipped this out just to make it 1 litre in there, so I poured it into another pot. So now we can just pour out the rest of it into here and then measure the two together and see roughly what we should have to load up with. There we go, there's the last of it. Sort that out in a minute. Okay, we'll let that drain just for a while. Well, the oil's just about drained now. This is the, I cleaned it up, this is the filler cap, and inside is the spring and the filter. Lucky enough there was no dirt. I think it clean, but there's actually no dirt in that filter at all, so no bits of metal, so it's good to see. And then that will go back on there and we can screw that back in. Okay, so we give that a quick wipe round. Get any dirt out of there. Now this is the, put it under pressure when you put this back in. So we put the spring back in there again. Okay, and then under the pressure we will try and tighten that up. There we go. So we won't go mad with this tightening it up. And it's aluminium. Just enough to stop it leaking. There we go. Just a bit more. Okay, that should do. Now, as I said earlier, it does say 800 mil in the manual, but you know, we had a little bit of a mess up and it went over the top. So I poured 1 litre into there, and this is the remainder, so hopefully pour that into there. Do for now. And then what have we got? There we go, we've got about 1.4 litres in there. It's obviously got the oil filter to take out, so that's 1.4, so make sure you don't put 800 mil in there, because that might lead to trouble. So there we go for now. Okay, so moving around the other side now, there's the oil filler and there's the oil filter in there. So to make life easier, it's actually better to take this cover off. So I'll get on and do that. It's just some Allen key bolts, 2 on the exhaust, 3 there, and that gives us easier access to get to this oil filter. Now, over the months, I've put a little bit of thread lock in these. Just used to check these once weekly, but I'll put some thread lock in, so it's a little bit difficult. So I'm going to have to use the socket on this one just to get it going. There we go. Just loosen them off, and then we've got 2 on the exhaust. Right, I'll carry on taking those out. Okay, so now we can get to the oil filter. This is just 8mm bolts. There's the last remaining oil. Okay, so there we go. Now, oh dear, there's some bolts already. Okay, there's the old oil filter, and we lost a spring in there that holds that in. Oh, there we go, one spring. Now this is the replacement filter. It's a high flow filter. It's HF132. You can buy it on Chinese motor parts online, but this does work out a little bit cheaper and it's still a good make. So I've cleaned up in there a little bit. That can go back in there against the rubber seals. I've also taken the exhaust guard off, made life a little bit more easier, and then there's the spring that holds that in place. All the seals are okay there, so we can now try and get that back in. Okay, that's in. And then try and get some screws in just to get that going. One of them started. There's the longer one for this side, and another one for here. Okay, let's see if we can get that started with using this. Okay, there we are. See, it does help you don't have your glove in there. There we go. Right. Okay. So we'll just go round and tighten these up evenly. And that one. not ridiculously tight, just enough to stop it leaking and sealing it. There we go. Just going to go around now with my best friend, ACF 50, just to wipe that down again. Okay, right, I'll get these trims back on again and I'll join you in a minute. Well, actually, I'll put the trims on afterwards. I think it's easier to go and fill it up first. So I'm going to use some Shell Advanced 1040 Ultra motorbike oil. So as you know, I'm going to put 1.4 litres in there. As you know, that's what we've taken out, and then I'll check it at a later stage to see if it has dropped at all. But I'm going to do that now. I don't think you need to see that, but obviously it's going to be a slow job. Just filling that up slowly with 1.4 litres of oil. And whilst this trims off, I'll go over with my best friend, ACF 50. Just helps any surface rust. Does smell a bit when you first start up, but it's good for protection. A little bit on there. Okay, that should do it. Alright, so we'll get the trim back on now, and then, as I say, I'll come back to you. Okay, so with all the exhaust trim back on, that's finished. I'll give it a start later on, maybe take it for a little ride, and recheck the oil level once that's done and settled down again. Now, as you know, in my last video on the Pegasus, which was the 8-month review, I said I was going to get this new screen, which I have eventually. It's actually for the Tayron Pathfinder 300T, which is basically the same manufacturer of Taro. So I just wanted to show you, this is the 60 centimetre screen. They also do a 55, a 65 and a 70. I think the 70 would be much too big, but personally I think the 60 is just about right. Now, just in case anyone was wondering how to fit the screen, it's not as difficult as it looks. I was told it was quite difficult, but I did speak to a dealer, and basically this area has to come off. There's 3 clips in there that it slides into, and down here is 3 other clips, and you've got to carefully pull that off, which will actually slide these both sides down, and then you're left with 2 holes, and the bolts are actually inside, deep inside. This is a bit fiddly. You'd have to use a long socket to get to it, a little bit fiddly, but once you've got those out, 4 of them, that literally just slides out, and you just slide the new one in, line it all up, and put the bolts back in again, and that's how it's done. Very straightforward. Now, another little modification I did was these metal tread plates. Once again, I think it was for the same company, and these are obviously by Taro again, which is the manufacturer of the bike. And taking away the old rubber ones, I had to drill some smaller holes here, pilot holes, and then these self-tapping screws go in there, and that went fairly well, and I think it makes quite a nice addition to the bike. The only downside on this side, if we're doing a little bit of a service, which we have with the oil, is check the water. So last time I checked, it seemed to be, it was fine, didn't need topping up. So these just unscrew, they're self-tapping screws, and we take this off. And then once we've got this off, we can now just prise that open. And there we go, there's the water bottle in there, which is fine, perfect. So that's okay. If we can get this back right, oh, this way round, there we go. Slides in there and locks in there, and then screw those back on again. Now, I would also normally check the brakes on the service, but I did about a month ago take these off and put some special, it wasn't copper grease, it was a special anti-squill liquid on there. It did squill a little bit, but since putting that on it stopped, but the pads are absolutely fine, and that's the same for the rear ones as well. This is also another thing I like to do every few weeks. This is the seat bucket. There's six bolts. Hold this in. Okay, I'll take those out and then I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so with those 6 loose now, we can bring the seat bucket out. So here we go into the engine compartment, and I always just go around just checking everything, which I've only done it not that long ago, and everything is pretty good. Battery terminals are tight and no corrosion. And then one thing I always do, I just go around with say my favourite, I've only done it recently, so I just go around here a little bit and just go over the frame with the ACF 50. And also, you can go on plastics, so over the pipes, everywhere inside there. And cover electrics with it. Keep those terminals, everything clean. And so there's not that much to do because I've done it recently. But try and do this probably once a month, and obviously oil checks, water checks every week, and tighten up nuts, etc. So there's not much to do. It's only done a little while ago, so that's all part of my regular servicing. On the next video, what I'll probably be doing, I did do the valves before, but I think on the next video I'll do the valves again. It's only got 1700 miles on here now, but so it's had service at 800 miles, which I did myself. It had its original one by the dealer, and now it's on 1700 miles. And I thought, well, it's no harm, it's quite cheap, just do another oil change. But yeah, so I'll put the seat bucket back in again, and I'll come back in a minute.
So after exactly a year with the Pegasus, am I happy? Yes, I am. It's never let me down. It's a great little workhorse for work. And I do hope you enjoyed this little review of it and maintenance. Please subscribe if you can, and from Jenny and myself, we wish you a very pleasant day, and please take care out there. Goodbye for now. Thank you.